Welcome to the official Sigma Male channel, where we uncover the hidden principles behind exceptional men who defy conventional hierarchies. Today we're exploring why Sigma males stand apart through their unshakable persistence, while others crumble under pressure. Sigmas transform obstacles into stepping stones toward their vision. The Sigma archetype represents men who operate outside traditional social structures, yet achieve remarkable success through their unique approach to life's challenges. If you've ever felt disconnected from mainstream paths to success while still harboring ambitions, this video will reveal why your different approach might be your greatest strength. Subscribe now to access our complete library of Sigma mindset strategies, including exclusive content on building wealth, mastering social dynamics, and achieving true independence. Hit that notification bell to join thousands of men who are reshaping their lives through the Sigma philosophy. Strategic solitude. The cornerstone of Sigma resilience begins with strategic solitude. Unlike most men who depend on constant validation from their social circles, the Sigma male deliberately cultivates periods of isolation. This isn't mere loneliness. It's calculated separation that serves a critical purpose. When a Sigma withdraws from social environments, he enters a state of focused introspection where his vision crystallizes without external interference. In this deliberate solitude, he develops an unshakable core identity that doesn't bend to social pressure or momentary setbacks. Consider how the most innovative entrepreneurs often make their breakthrough discoveries during periods of isolation. Elon Musk reportedly spent weeks alone refining his vision for SpaceX when conventional wisdom declared private space travel impossible. This strategic separation allows Sigmas to maintain their course when others abandon their paths. The Sigma's relationship with solitude functions as mental armor. When rejection or failure occurs, he doesn't scramble for external reassurance. Instead, he retreats into this private intellectual domain where he can objectively analyze setbacks without emotional contamination. A defining characteristic of this strategic solitude is its purposeful nature. Sigmas don't avoid social interaction out of fear or inability, but rather engage selectively to preserve their mental focus. They understand that true persistence requires periods of uninterrupted concentration on their objectives. This deliberate isolation creates the perfect incubator for the Sigma's unwavering persistence. When others quit because their social circles discourage them, the Sigma continues forward, his resolve strengthened in the crucible of strategic solitude. Calculated risk-taking. What separates the Sigma male from both reckless gamblers and overcautious traditionalists is his approach to risk. While others either avoid challenges altogether or plunge in without preparation, the Sigma employs calculated risk-taking as a cornerstone of his persistence. The Sigma understands that meaningful achievement requires venturing beyond comfort zones, but he does so with strategic precision. He meticulously evaluates potential outcomes, identifying both catastrophic dangers to avoid and acceptable losses he can absorb in pursuit of his vision. This calculated approach to risk creates a psychological foundation for persistence because the Sigma rarely faces true surprises. When setbacks occur, as they inevitably do, they typically fall within his pre-calculated parameters of acceptable loss. While others abandon ship at the first sign of trouble, the Sigma has already factored temporary failures into his broader strategy. Look at how successful entrepreneurs like Richard Branson approach business ventures. They don't avoid risk. They quantify it, compartmentalize it, and integrate it into their decision-making process. This allows them to maintain momentum through difficulties that would derail most men. The Sigma's risk calculation extends beyond financial or career domains into all life areas. Whether pursuing physical challenges, relationship goals, or personal development, he approaches risk as an essential variable rather than an obstacle to avoid. This comprehensive risk intelligence becomes a powerful engine for persistence. Most importantly, the Sigma male's calculated risk-taking creates a feedback loop of increasing confidence. Each risk navigated successfully, or even each failure survived and learned from, strengthens his belief in his ability to persist through future challenges. This growing self-assurance becomes the foundation of his unwavering determination. Mental resilience. The third pillar of the Sigma male's refusal to surrender lies in his exceptional mental resilience. While ordinary men allow temporary setbacks to derail their entire trajectory, the Sigma has developed psychological systems that transform obstacles into fuel for continued progress. At the core of this mental resilience is the Sigma's relationship with failure. Where most men internalize failure as a reflection of personal inadequacy, the Sigma views it as valuable intelligence, data points revealing what doesn't work and illuminating the path forward. This fundamental reframing prevents the shame spiral that causes most men to abandon their pursuits. The Sigma cultivates this resilience through deliberate mental training. He regularly exposes himself to controlled discomfort, pushing his psychological limits through challenging physical regimens, intellectual problems without easy solutions, or social situations that test his frame. This creates a mind accustomed to functioning under pressure. Consider how Navy SEALs undergo stress inoculation training to build mental toughness. Similarly, the Sigma deliberately introduces manageable stressors into his life to strengthen his psychological immune system. When genuine crises emerge, his mind doesn't collapse into fight or flight reactions, but maintains operational clarity. Another hallmark of the Sigma's mental resilience is his temporal perspective. While others become trapped in momentary emotional states, the Sigma maintains awareness of both his past trajectory and future objectives. This expanded time horizon allows him to contextualize current difficulties as temporary waypoints rather than endpoints. The Sigma's mental resilience isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about extracting maximum value from adversity. When challenges arise, he doesn't merely survive them, he integrates their lessons, adapts his approach, and emerges with enhanced capabilities. This transformative relationship with difficulty becomes a powerful engine of persistent growth. Emotional self-sufficiency. The fourth distinguishing quality of the Sigma male is his emotional self-sufficiency, a rare capacity that allows him to persist when others abandon their path. While most men remain emotionally dependent on external validation, the Sigma has developed internal systems for emotional regulation and motivation. At its foundation, this self-sufficiency stems from the Sigma's deliberate emotional independence. He has systematically reduced his need for approval, praise, and recognition from others. Instead, he's developed personal metrics for success based on his own standards of excellence rather than social feedback loops. This emotional autonomy manifests in the Sigma's capacity to maintain motivation without external reinforcement. When pursuing ambitious goals, most men require constant encouragement and recognition to sustain their efforts. The Sigma, by contrast, draws motivation from internal sources. His personal commitment to mastery, his alignment with purpose, and his self-defined standards. Consider how elite athletes like Kobe Bryant maintained intense training regimens regardless of public recognition. They weren't performing for applause, but satisfying an internal standard of excellence. This emotional self-sufficiency allowed them to persist through phases of criticism or invisibility that would derail performance-oriented competitors. The Sigma's emotional independence also creates remarkable stability during turbulent periods. When facing criticism, rejection, or failure, he doesn't experience the dramatic emotional fluctuations that disrupt persistence in other men. Instead, he maintains emotional equilibrium, allowing for continued focused action despite external resistance. Perhaps most importantly, the Sigma's emotional self-sufficiency liberates him from social comparison, one of the greatest killers of persistence. While others abandon their path when witnessing peers achieve faster results, the Sigma remains anchored in his personal journey. This freedom from comparison eliminates a major source of discouragement that causes most men to surrender prematurely. Purpose-driven determination. The fifth element that fuels the Sigma male's legendary persistence is his purpose-driven determination. Unlike most men who drift between goals based on social trends or fleeting desires, the Sigma operates from a deeply internalized sense of purpose that transcends temporary obstacles. This purpose-driven approach begins with the Sigma's deliberate vision-setting process. Rather than adopting purposes handed to him by society, family expectations, or peer influence, he engages in profound self-inquiry to identify purposes aligned with his authentic values and capacities. This alignment creates a gravitational pull toward his objectives that sustains momentum through difficulties. The distinguishing feature of the Sigma's purpose is its independence from external validation. While conventional achievements often revolve around impressing others or gaining social status, the Sigma's purpose operates on a different dimension. Whether he's building a business, mastering a skill, or pursuing a creative vision, his drive stems from internal conviction rather than anticipated social rewards. Consider how inventors like Nikola Tesla continued their work despite financial hardship and limited recognition. Their persistence wasn't fueled by immediate rewards, but by unwavering belief in the significance of their contribution. This purpose-centered determination allowed them to maintain focus through decades of obstacles. Another hallmark of the Sigma's purpose-driven determination is its resilience against distraction. In a world designed to fragment attention, most men bounce between objectives without sustained focus. The Sigma, anchored in clear purpose, possesses remarkable immunity to the shiny object syndrome that derails others' persistence. The most powerful aspect of purpose-driven determination is how it transforms the experience of effort itself. While others perceive persistence as painful sacrifice, the Sigma experiences it as meaningful progression toward his defining purpose. This fundamental reframing turns the challenging work of persistence from burden into fulfillment, a psychological advantage that explains why Sigmas continue when others surrender. Adaptability in adversity. The sixth critical component of the Sigma male's refusal to surrender is his exceptional adaptability in the face of adversity. While most men cling rigidly to their initial approaches, even when they prove ineffective, the Sigma demonstrates remarkable tactical flexibility. While maintaining strategic persistence, this adaptive capacity begins with the Sigma's relationship to his methods versus his objectives. He maintains absolute commitment to his core goals while treating his approaches as provisional experiments subject to refinement. This distinction allows him to pivot methodologies without abandoning his ultimate vision, a crucial factor in sustained persistence. The foundation of this adaptability lies in the Sigma's relentless objectivity about results. Where ego causes most men to defend failing approaches, the Sigma maintains ruthless honesty about what's working and what isn't. This clear-eyed assessment creates the necessary conditions for tactical adaptation without strategic surrender. Consider how technology entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs repeatedly pivoted their approaches when initial methods failed. Apple's journey from computers to music players to phones demonstrates how strategic persistence, combined with tactical flexibility, creates extraordinary outcomes that would never emerge from rigid approaches. Another dimension of the Sigma's adaptability is his capacity to extract value from unexpected developments. While others perceive deviations from plan as pure setbacks, the Sigma recognizes and capitalizes on emergent opportunities within apparent obstacles. This alchemical ability to transmute problems into possibilities maintains forward momentum, where others would stall. Perhaps most importantly, the Sigma's adaptability extends to identity flexibility. While many men abandon pursuits when difficulties challenge their self-concept, the Sigma willingly evolves his identity to incorporate new capabilities demanded by his journey. This psychological plasticity allows for continuous growth without triggering the identity protection mechanisms that cause most men to quit when challenged. Disciplined independence. The seventh quality that powers the Sigma male's unwavering persistence is his disciplined independence, a rare combination of autonomous thinking with structured execution that enables sustained progress without external governance. At its core, this disciplined independence begins with the Sigma's liberation from conventional wisdom. Unlike most men who unconsciously adopt standardized approaches to work and life, the Sigma deliberately evaluates accepted methodologies, retaining what works while discarding what doesn't serve his specific context. This intellectual sovereignty allows him to design optimal systems for his unique circumstances. The hallmark of the Sigma's approach is his self-imposed discipline. While many independent thinkers lack execution consistency, the Sigma creates personal frameworks more demanding than any external authority would impose. He establishes clear standards, measurable metrics, and accountability systems that maintain momentum without external enforcement. Consider how writers like Haruki Murakami develop rigid personal schedules more structured than any publisher's deadline could enforce. This self-directed discipline enables extraordinary creative output sustained over decades, a testament to how internal governance supports persistence more effectively than external pressure. Another dimension of disciplined independence is the Sigma's relationship with habits. Rather than relying on fluctuating motivation, he engineers his environment and routines to make persistence the path of least resistance. This systematic approach ensures continued progress even during periods of diminished inspiration or increased challenge. The most powerful aspect of the Sigma's disciplined independence is how it protects his persistence from social disruption. When conventional paths prove unsupportive of his objectives, he doesn't surrender to social gravity, but instead creates alternative systems that enable continued progress. This capacity for self-contained operation explains why Sigmas achieve breakthroughs in domains where institutional support is lacking or actively resistant. Legacy building. The eighth and final element that fuels the Sigma male's unrelenting persistence is his orientation toward legacy building. Unlike most men whose efforts are directed toward immediate gratification or short-term recognition, the Sigma operates within an expanded time frame that transforms his relationship with obstacles. This legacy mindset begins with the Sigma's expanded temporal perspective. While ordinary thinking remains trapped in immediate feedback loops, the Sigma maintains simultaneous awareness of historical context and future impact. This extended time horizon reframes current challenges as necessary components of significant achievement rather than reasons to abandon ship. The distinguishing feature of the Sigma's legacy orientation is his focus on contribution over acknowledgement. Where many surrender their pursuits when recognition proves elusive, the Sigma remains focused on creating lasting value regardless of immediate attribution. This detachment from contemporary validation liberates his persistence from the unpredictable winds of public attention. Consider how scientists like Gregor Mendel continued their groundbreaking work despite complete lack of recognition during their lifetimes. Their persistence wasn't sustained by applause, but by conviction in the significance of their contribution to human understanding. This legacy-oriented perspective enables extraordinary persistence through periods of invisibility that would derail most men. Another dimension of the Sigma's legacy building is his relationship with compounding effects. While others abandon efforts when linear progress seems too slow, the Sigma recognizes how consistent action accumulates exponentially over time. This appreciation for compounding returns maintains his motivation through plateaus that cause most to surrender. Perhaps most importantly, the Sigma's legacy orientation connects his persistence to something larger than personal achievement. Whether contributing to a field of knowledge, building an enterprise that creates value for others, or developing innovations that solve meaningful problems, his efforts transcend personal gratification. This connection to larger purpose transforms persistence from mere stubbornness into meaningful participation in human advancement. The Sigma male's refusal to surrender stems from his unique psychological framework, one built on strategic independence, emotional self-regulation, and unwavering purpose. While conventional social hierarchies might value conformity and external validation, the Sigma has discovered the immense power that comes from charting his own course. Remember that becoming a true Sigma isn't about superficial behaviors or projecting an image. It's about developing the internal fortitude to persist when others abandon their path. The principles we've explored today represent just the beginning of the Sigma journey. If you've connected with these concepts and want to discover more advanced Sigma strategies, subscribe now to the official Sigma Male channel. Every week, we deliver actionable insights that thousands of men are using to transform their lives. Join our community of independent thinkers who are redefining success on their own terms. Remember, persistence isn't just about enduring, it's about thriving in ways others haven't yet imagined.